Well, hello, sir.
Yes.
We got some recording going on here. All right, so all right, this is gonna be a little bit awkward. I'm gonna be looking at you over here, and
Back and forth.
so we got a couple things to talk to you about. What's up, everybody?
Everyone.
Welcome back to Splayed. This is Splayed, episode 5010.
Volume 3.
Oh, Docker. What's up, guys? So, Adam.
Yes.
Stuff to talk about today. Robert Rodriguez. What the F
Did he do?
So, is he good or is he bad? I thought he was awesome, and I was all excited for Book of Boba Fett. And then the movie came out, the TV show came out, and it got progressively worse until you got to the Mos Espa Vespas.
Yeah.
And you just told me he did Spy Kids.
Yeah, he did
All
Spy
I knew
Kids.
about him was Alita, which I thought was awesome. And he did Kill Bill, apparently. So I thought he was like this awesome guy. And he did the Boba Fett like episode, I think, in season 1
Yeah.
of The Mandalorian or whatever, which was awesome. So I'm expecting great things.
But nothing.
And then it was Vespas. I'm expecting like The Godfather, right? And it's not The Godfather.
Godfather in
It's
space.
Spy Kids is what we got. Spy Kids, right?
In space.
Why did he do Spy Kids?
For his kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, next subject. We want to go on and talk about Halo. Halo, I thought the end of it was terrible. There's going to be spoilers here, guys, because you've had fucking time. I was going to do this review like 10 months ago, and we haven't been able to meet.
Do anything.
Yeah, so Halo is the next topic. We're just going to breeze on through these.
Just keep on going.
Okay, the ending of Halo sucked. I'm sorry, but that's like... No. Cortana took the wheel. You know,
Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah, but Cortana. She took the wheel. And when Master Chief was at his most badass, Master Chief wasn't home. He wasn't driving. Cortana was driving.
That sucks.
Let him be badass. Look, I get that you want to have female strong characters in movies now. I'm supportive of that. But you already had Kai and Riz and that annoying chick that was angry all the time. And I had nothing against her, nothing against the actress, by the way. So
Just character development.
the character was written to be annoying. You know, they wanted this character that was naive. Quan. They wanted this like they wrote the character to be naive and angry.
And it was just...
And egotistical, right? So, like, if that's the right word. Naive, angry, and like... You know when you're like overconfident, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nihilistic?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. She thinks she's amazing, but she's not. She's super naive about stuff. She keeps doing really dumb stuff. You know what I mean? That gets her almost killed. Although somehow it magically works out. And then she's angry all the time. So just the character traits that they gave the character were like, there's no way you could like the character. And maybe they're going to develop her later. And make her like someone that grows on you, but I mean, there's too much of a long swing there. Like they needed to bend that arc a little faster if that's what they were going for.
But I think, when you try to make something work, and you take certain liberties with the storyline, it doesn't work out, right?
What liberties are you talking about?
Well, I guess another example is like, look at what they did with the original Mario movie, right? The game for Mario was him rescuing the princess.
Okay.
Being, going through all these fantastical worlds. And then you see the the Super Mario movie. You remember the movie, right?
Okay, I liked the movie.
You did?
You know I know that everybody hates it. Even the actor, I think one of the things that he said he regretted the most was Super Mario Brothers. I liked it.
It's good
John
for what it is.
But if you like John Leguizamo, I think you like the movie.
If you like him, you like the movie. Then did you like Spawn? Because he was the clown.
Spawn.
He was the clown.
Was he the clown in Spawn?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. I did like Spawn though.
Okay.
Like Ice Age. Pretty sure he used to be the voice, right, for the sloth.
He was Sloth.
I don't know if he's still the sloth.
Yeah, I think he is.
Is he still the sloth?
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, Anyway, but Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
I don't know what's not to like.
It's
Mario,
not a
you got Luigi.
it's not a bad movie, but it's like you don't get the game feel. You know,
I kind of got the game feel. I guess the Goombas didn't look like Goombas.
No.
It's fine. It's okay. Anyway, back to
Halo.
Yeah. Okay, Kai. I loved Kai. And I actually really liked Riz and the guy who I can't remember the other Spartan. I can't remember his name. I think anyway, those two, because they still have like their emotional suppression pills in the whole time.
Yeah.
But they become like a really funny like foil. Is that the right word? I don't know. At the end of the movie. At the end of the series, it's entertaining to see them played off the characters who don't have their emotional control pill in and see the conscious. It's kind of fun because they still have some funny dialogue, even though they're supposed to be like emotionally muted.
So they're the straight man.
Yeah, they're kind of the straight man, and it works. You get some cool character contrast and some cool character moments there that I thought was fun.
They kind of play that in the game Deus Ex. The guy who plays it so straight face, even in the face of like devastation. It's like, oh no, my father died. He goes, what a shame.
Yeah, it's
he was
like
a good
that.
man.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, exactly, and it worked. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
So it worked. At the end, though, they literally kill Master Chief, and Cortana takes over his mind, and then she saves the day through him.
Of course.
I'm okay with Cortana being Cortana's badass enough as it is. She's already like super intelligent, and she fights battles on a different plane than Master Chief. While Master Chief is down fighting with guns, she's fighting in the metaverse or whatever.
She's fighting. What's his name that owns Facebook, right?
Yeah, exactly. Her and Zuckerberg are going at it. So what?
We're gonna smoke some meats.
Yeah. She already is a badass, Cortana, and they're a team. So I don't like that they got rid of the team dynamic and just made it her. Now I think supposedly he's supposed to come back to life in the next season or something because he didn't fully there was a chance. It was weird.
Well, he's a clone, so
he's not a clone.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not a clone.
Well, they cloned him from the child they abducted.
No, the clone died.
Well, the clone did die, but they can clone him. They have the technology to clone.
Yeah, but the clones die.
So we'll have it's like James Bond. It's not the same James Bond. It's always a new James Bond.
Yeah.
So
or Doctor Who.
Or Doctor Who. Yeah. So they get a new guy to play him, and they're just like, okay, here's a bunch of alcohol, and throw him in there.
Yeah.
Just get in there.
Here's a bottle. Go on stage. We should do that more. Drunk History is actually a show that I really like.
You like that one?
I like Drunk History.
And then they did some stuff.
Yeah.
I like the one. The dog barks.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. So Halo. Anyway, you gotta stop. I'm again. Strong female characters. Yes, please, love it. But
give them their own storyline.
Let the dog have his day. You know what I mean? Every dog has his day. Let the dogs have their day. Yeah. Give Master Chief an opportunity to just be badass. I want more John McClane. You know what I mean? I want more Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want a return of the day when the hero could just be a badass. He didn't have to, he could be flawed and he could have an arc, but he could actually still be good at fighting. Genuinely just be good. And that could be something that you could just enjoy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Now, would you like to have an original hero that starts off like John McClane, but is just female? I mean,
sure.
Not the same storyline, her own storyline.
Yeah. I'm all for that. Yes, please, more of that. Great. Just don't ruin... You don't have to ruin the male character... to the benefit of the female character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. So,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it. But they need to train them so that they fucked up with Rey in Star Wars. She's supposed to be strong, but it was too fucking easy. She just mastered the Force, insta-mastered it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, because Star Wars has its own set universe, right? Yeah. And everyone knows Luke, everyone knows Yoda. Yeah. But it's here's this new character, and she happens to be female in this storyline.
So fucking, show us... take us on a journey with her where she learns to fight.
Yeah.
Now, I get that maybe she grew up on that planet. She was a scavenger. She probably had to learn to fight a little bit. You know what I mean? But that doesn't explain how she can go toe-to-toe with fucking... What's his name?
Palpatine. Or Kylo?
Kylo.
Oh, yeah, Kylo,
in a
yeah.
lightsaber duel on day one with no training.
That's right.
Like, I'm sorry. Just, no. That doesn't happen in real life, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
In real life, you don't just get instantly good at sword fighting because you've thrown a staff around a couple times. And that's the thing, too, is even having to survive in that desert, like, even if she had to do, like, fights occasionally, I'm sure it was like, you had to finish it quickly, and you're fighting other people who aren't trained, right? So it's really just about whoever can be the most aggressive and knock the other person out wins. You know what I mean? It's not the same as fighting someone who's actually trained. It's a completely different ballgame. You know what I mean?
We didn't see Kylo's rank. Well, we kind of did here and
he
there.
was trained by Luke, who's a great swords master. Min, whatever. I couldn't figure out whether to go with
Lightsaberist.
Min or yes, lightsaberist. And he was also trained by Palpatine's puppet.
Yeah.
Right? And the Knights of Ren or whatever. Like, or he trained them. I don't know. Point is, he's had plenty of training. And
Okay.
in the Force too.
Is it the whole someone who doesn't have an education going against someone who does, has well taken care of? Because he was part of the Empire.
Yeah.
They had the funds.
Yeah, they had money.
Yeah.
He was rich.
And Rey didn't have anything.
Sure.
And then she proved herself to be a great swordsman. It's like, the guy who has everything going for him. He, great parents and everything, goes to Yale, and he's like, I had to work for everything for my life, But he went to Yale because his parents were like alumni or whatever. But then you have Rey, who came from the Bronx.
Okay.
And she's like, hey, I want to go to Yale too. So she studies really hard, but you don't see that studying.
Yeah, you don't see it.
You don't even see a montage.
Yeah. Like,
So-
give us a montage of something.
So it's like a person who is playing.
I mean, she swings that saber at the Rock when she meets Luke, so I
Well-
guess that means she knows how to fight now.
yeah, that's good. Good enough. That's good enough for Yale.
Yeah. But he
you-
won't train her, so she goes out and stands up on the rock and swings it around, and then swings it at a rock, right? So now she knows how to fight.
Yeah, it's like someone who says, I played this DS game of a pretend surgeon. Now I'm a 4-star doctor.
Yeah.
I can operate on you.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to hospitals.
Yeah. So anyway, they just keep fucking it up. You know what I mean? Like, give us a female character, but show us, either establish her as a badass. Like, it's fine. You don't have to montage it. You don't have to show us her being a badass, but then you need to enter her as a badass. Like,
Well, they did that with Laura Croft,
did they?
Well,
I didn't see Laura Croft.
Well, no, not the movie. The video games,
Yeah, it's okay for her to, John McClane is already a badass. You don't need to watch him go through training. But they established that at the very beginning. You know what I mean? Like, he's a cop. He's a straight cop. You know what I mean? Like, he has creds. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, in the movie, you just see him flying in, goes to his ex-wife's company party, takes his shoes off, and then terrorists show up,
Yeah.
But, he's like, I hate this, And, he mumbles to himself, but he's like, hey, I just flew in from New York. I'm actually a cop.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, frankly, he's got everything about his story says that he's got some years, he's got some wear on him. You know what I mean? He's got some, he's been through some shit.
Yeah.
Ray doesn't smell that way. You know what I mean? And obviously she's been through shit. She's from a story perspective, she's been through some shit, but she doesn't, nothing in her dialogue comes off as though she's been through shit.
But you don't see her as
She speaks too proper.
Okay.
Why is her language so polished?
Because everyone's British there,
Yeah, right. I heard supposedly they invented some sort of a kind of a weird sort of a language or accent. It's supposed to be super proper. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm thinking of just sort of old movies. But she should have bad language, and she should cuss, and she should be she should pick her nose and shit. You know what I mean? She shouldn't be polished. It doesn't make sense for her to be polished.
Okay.
So why is she polished in everything?
Well, it's Disney.
Yeah. Well, I guess, right? And that's the fucking problem.
And then there's your problem.
And now we have Mos Espa Vespas.
Yeah.
Tell us real stories. People are fucking dying in Ukraine. They're getting slaughtered. That's what reality is. You know what I mean? Fuck the Vespas. You know what I mean? Tell us a real story. You know what I mean? Tell us a real story that matters.
Yeah.
About real people. Because real people don't magically get good. Get good at them.
Get good. Get good into Star Wars universe.
In the Star Wars universe. So Halo worked and didn't work. there was elements of it that I really liked. Quan, and I feel by the way that I opened it, I think that the actress for Quan is great. I don't want to knock her, and I want to be clear about that. I know women get a lot of harassment, you know what I mean, when they play these roles and if they don't go well. And so I don't know, I don't think it's Quan's fault. I think the character, and I'm saying Quan, I don't know her real name. I don't think it's her fault. No. I think the character was written fucking horribly. You know what I mean? Like, it was written to be a pain in the ass. The other Spartan, what is his name? The 6'6" guy, 066?
I don't really.
He was badass. He was awesome.
You're like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, he was cool. Like, everything he was in was awesome, except for, like, he kind of countered Quan, but not enough. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was awesome.
Speaking, you said Terminator earlier. They're doing an open world survival Terminator game.
Why can't they get Terminator right?
That's the thing, you know?
Ever since Terminator 2, they haven't been able to get it right. Why not? Why doesn't it work?
Did you like Salvation?
I think I did say that, right? I think I did like Salvation. Okay, yeah. That's the one. No, I didn't like Salvation. So here's the one I liked. Bell. I liked Genesis, and nobody likes Genesis.
Yeah, no one
likes Genesis. But I thought it was okay. I mean, Sarah Connor was maybe not quite as much of a badass as she needed to be.
That was like underage Sarah Connor.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. I think the problem is she was in Game of Thrones, right? So it's like, well, if you're the Dragon Queen, then you can be Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. So Sarah Connor is one of the, by the way, I think the strongest female characters of all time. The most badass. And like a proper badass, and she earns it. Well, she has earned it.
See, because it was an original story. Yeah. You know, surviving the Terminator, right? Terminator 1, Terminator 2. And it's all about Sarah Connor. But then they did Terminator 3 where they killed her off. They just kind of wrote her off.
She's the reason it worked. And so when they took her out of it.
But then they tried to shoo her back in.
The thing is then they always replace her with weak John Connor. So the biggest issue for me is that John Connor should be as strong as Sarah Connor was. And they never could quite figure it out how to make him this transition. Like, he's supposed to be...
That was 3, right? Where he's like trying to figure out if he wants.
Bitch in 3.
Yeah.
He's like,
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. He made him a total bitch in 3.
They try to make it seem like he was the whole Jesus, not refusing his duties, right?
Yeah.
But it was stupid.
That's not John Connor.
No.
Like, he was a fucking crook. He was fucking robbing banks.
Yeah.
He's not a polite little princess.
Well, veterinarians, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, in Terminator 2, he's hacking into ATMs and stealing money and shit.
Well, young John Connor to get by, being the hoodlum.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the latest one, Dark Fate, rewriting everything?
Again, they're trying to make a strong female characters, and I don't think it worked because they ruined Sarah Connor's character.
Yep.
They take someone who is very strong and they break her down and make her subordinate to this Terminator character, which I don't like. Like, Sarah Connor should be kicking that Terminator's ass and saving the day, and that Terminator should be ineffective.
And like the first couple when you first see her, she is kicking ass.
The first segment of Sarah Connor, I was like, fuck yeah. Yes, thank you. And then they just start like,
well, we can't have that anymore.
Yeah, then they just start breaking her down and talking about how she sees herself as just this destiny to bear a child or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're trying to contrast that with an even stronger female character. But Sarah Connor was badass as a mother. You know what I mean? No, she was there to fight the fight until her son took on the fight. It's not that she was there to bear humanity's savior. Yeah. She was there to be savior number 1 until savior number 2 was ready. You know what I mean? It's not that she was lesser than John. You know what I mean?
She was just like, I tried to prepare him as much as I could, but then they're like,
but that means keeping him alive.
Yeah.
By fucking being badass, you know what I mean?
But then they're just like, no, we don't need that anymore. Yeah. Now we got this other person who will be the savior,
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever, right?
And then the girl that they got to play the Terminator was just, again, I don't know if it's the way they wrote the character, but she's not likable. She's blank. I mean, I guess she's supposed to be kind of like a Terminator, but she's a human. She's supposed to be human.
Oh, you mean in 3?
But she's in Dark Fate.
Oh, Dark Fate was that guy.
Yeah, no, the girl cyborg chick, whatever she was, the augment. Yeah.
Yeah, her. Okay.
She was flat, man. I actually liked the villain. So I actually think they actually got someone who looked dangerous, I thought, for the bad guy. I liked the bad guy. I had nothing wrong with him. The problem I had was that the girl that they had was, I think, supposed to be likable, and I just hated her. And she hated Sarah Connor. And constantly was putting Sarah Connor down, and I'm like, don't destroy Sarah Connor. She's like the most badass person of all time.
Yeah, well, she stopped the first couple of things, but then it's like, oh, you can't overwrite what's going to happen in the future, even though they did like 4 or 5 times, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't like Dark Fate. Sorry, did you like it?
No.
No.
I mean, the announcement of this open world survival, so it's like a huge open world, and you have to survive from being terminated.
That is kind of cool, though.
Think about that, right?
Yeah, that could be fun to play.
So you're like hiding, running through like, industrial areas.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Ukraine, man. I just want to say, Ukraine, man, I love the people of Ukraine. That's all I'm going to say. Love the people of Ukraine. I want to say it on every episode now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, I'm
fucking
with
badass
them.
Motherfuckers.
They're fighting.
They're fighting. And they're fucking fighting. You know what I mean? And they're fucking and they're fighting.
I saw a picture of a guy, he's a teacher there.
Yeah.
So he's taking time out of during skirmishes to do like Zoom calls.
Yeah.
And also on the front line fighting.
That's fucking crazy, man. I know we had a whole team at my last company that was, frankly, we had a whole team at this company that's from Ukraine, you know? And like, it's just weird. I don't know how many of them. I actually haven't. I don't work with that team very closely, so I'm not sure how many of them are like still in the country. Yeah. I know it's like a lot of the men that weren't really allowed to leave. So war. Thoughts on war. Would you die for your country?
Well, yeah. Would you?
Well, yeah, but now, right? The question is.
Oh, at this point in time.
Yeah, like in my life now, it makes perfect sense. I have this like scale, like at 40. It's like, yeah, you should probably go die for your country. You know what I mean? At 50, fuck yeah. At 60, please, God, give me a gun and send me over there. You know what I mean? But should you fight for your country between like 20 and 30? Like you're starting a new family, or you're just that's like kind of like the prime area of life. Assuming it's not an existential war, is that really when we should be sending people to go fight?
Well, look at World War II. That was World War II, the draft was initiated, and anyone from, 17 or so, I remember, got drafted, and you had to go fight. Or Vietnam.
Yeah.
There was a draft then too. But it wasn't a full-on, war for like there wasn't a clear evil.
Right.
Right?
Well, in Vietnam?
Well, okay, so Vietnam
there wasn't a clear threat to us, I think.
Well, there is that, but there wasn't I guess how they put it is a police action, because North and South Korea and everything. But it's like, it wasn't a real hey, we got attacked, personally. There wasn't a Pearl Harbor. And of course, we did have 9/11, and then there was the whole, let's go to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And is that a war that you would want to be drafted for?
No, that's not worthwhile. Afghanistan, what the fuck was that? What were we even doing there? I don't know. But at the time you believed that that's where Bin Laden was. He killed 3,000 people. Again, that's a war where it's like, okay, if I'm 50, yeah, I'll go fight that war.
50.
That's not a 40-year-old fight war. I think there's different measures, right?
Yeah.
Like World War II, okay, that's probably like a 40-year-old fight war. You know what I mean? If it starts attacking our territory, maybe it's a 30-year-old fight war. You know what I mean? Once it's like they're invading your country, and guess what? You're gonna get fucked. You know what I mean? If they come, then it's like, okay, all right, now we're arming the 5-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask, do you have a whole military service in your family, or no?
Yeah, well, not like ancestrally, but my cousins and stuff.
Okay, so you have cousins and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't serve. I did actually at one time. I was going to join the Marines. I actually was in the office. I was going to sign up, but I couldn't. And I had a health thing. That's my excuse. Anyway, that's ultimately what stopped me. You know what I mean? So
and to switch opposites now, it's my on my side, I have my grandfather, my dad, my mom, My in-laws all served, but I'm not able to serve because of my conditions, medical.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to.
Yeah, I almost wonder if I should do like some like what is it, ROTC, right? Like
You can
reserve.
do
Now, like I said, because now that I'm at an age where it's like I feel like I could give, Although again, because of health conditions, I'd be sort of limited. I don't know if that's an issue, with like reservist,
It might. It would be another medical exam that you would have to go through, but
yeah. But I feel like I could, I feel like there's an area I could serve.
But again, would you consider yourself to be, in the ranks, like able to take orders and then, without having, all that pressure put on you? Well, first you have a lot of pressure and you're giving orders and you're getting yelled at all the time.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, you like that.
I like that. I don't know, man. It's less stressful, in my opinion, than like what I do right now with software. I've got so much stuff that's on my head, that's on my shoulders, that I just live with all the time. And the amount of stress and anxiety that causes, it's starting to cripple me a little bit. You know what I mean? So I almost kind of would like being in an environment where someone else is just yelling at me, telling me what to do, because then it's on them.
Well, it's an interesting mindset of a programmer.
Yeah,
is because you feel the stress of like the work, but that stress that you're feeling directly on you, that's all your own stress, though.
Well, but
it's the value of stress that you give the stress to it, that you're giving stress. How do I want to say? You're giving value to your own stress.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, but I have to. I mean, this world is survival of the fittest.
Well, it is for the most part, but it is up to you to say, I'm good. I've had enough for now.
Yeah, but if I do that, I could lose my job.
There are other jobs. You want to be president, Rusty?
No, I don't. I've thought about it.
You want to be a senator?
But no.
You want to be a liar?
Yeah. I want to be the next Elon Musk. Although Elon Musk is kind of disappointing me right now. I don't know what that whole spill was with Twitter.
I have buyer's remorse.
Yeah, I guarantee I know what it. The thing is, I could see it the moment he started talking about the spam being a reason why. I mean, you knew he was going to pull out. He was just trying to set the stage, and I'm sure that. I mean, it's not coincidence that the whole stock market, and I'm sure in his entire net worth dropped like 30 or 50%, right, over the last 6 months. I'm sure that played into it. You know what I mean? He's like feeling really rich in January. You know what I mean? Or December of last year, and then by, April, May of this year, suddenly he's feeling not so rich. You know what I mean? Like maybe $50 billion is kind of a big deal, or whatever it was. But he's been tweeting a lot lately, and not all of it has been, I think, meaningful tweets. You know what I mean? Like I'm starting to feel like it's just noise. So I'm losing some respect for him. I used to kind of put him up here on the top.
I don't really put much of anyone up high,
I mean, he's still got incredible power and skill in his ability to build, and I'm hoping that bears him through this. But he's got some areas where I'm like, I almost feel like he's naive, like socially. Like I'm like,
well, of course he's probably not very well versed with like culture wise.
Yeah.
Could you see him going out to like one of those artistic coffee shops?
No, I from what I understand, he just kind of sits in his trailer and watches TV.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I know he's working on stuff. Like I'm sure he has people over. He has parties in his trailer.
In a trailer.
He'll have no house. But it's easy to say that when you've got billions of dollars. It's like, well, if you wanted a house, you could have one. There's something about being able to buy something easily that suddenly it's less desirable. You know what I mean?
Example. Like a hotel?
Yeah, like if you've got enough money, like I look out now and I want like a Bugatti, or I want like a
expensive one.
like a nice car, like an Audi, or I want like all these things. You know what I mean? Like I want a Mustang, but I want like the new like GT 700 or whatever, GT 500. That's how much I've know, but I think it's the new ones that came out last year. They're awesome.
But
they
new car, expensive car.
So I want a new, very expensive car, but like once you have enough money to where that's like a trivial thing, you don't buy. A different example would be like at my salary now. There's things that I always wanted as a kid, like video games or like, new shoes, stuff like that. Where it's like I've got money, I could go buy new shoes, but I just don't. You know, because
you lost interest in it.
Yeah, I do kind of want to get some new shoes.
But I do want some new shoes.
Some new Converse All Stars.
See, I've never been into shoes, but again, like you said, video games. I've kind of lost interest in them.
Yeah. What's going on? What happened? Did we hit this threshold? I've got games in my library that I'm not playing.
Yeah, they're just sitting there. And they're giving away games,
Yeah.
For like Epic every Thursday, they're just like,
and
here.
I'm starting to worry about it because I'm in the business of making games. My side gig is making games.
But maybe that's the thing, It's like I make this. I have no interest in other,
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
Is it just us, or is it our age thing, or a point in our life thing, or is it society as a whole? Is society? Because here's the thing: is like World of Warcraft. I don't think actually would have been as successful. Like if you were to let's say you deleted World of Warcraft, you created a new World of Warcraft today, same game. All the same kind of criteria in terms of there was other games before it. There's a fan base of the company, right? I don't think it would sell, and it could be the exact same game. With modern graphics and everything, I don't think it would work. And I think that the reason World of Warcraft worked the first time was because it was new. We hadn't seen it. I mean, there was like EVE Online or something like that. There was like one or two that were out before it, but they weren't.
Well, there was RuneScape and stuff like that, but they were massively online. But they didn't have that cartoon-ish style. Yes. They didn't have the storyline because we played the RTS strategy.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey,
we're in the lore, we're in the universe, we cared about the characters.
Because you got invested in it.
But it was also new. I mean, for me, I hadn't played those other games. So, like, the ability to go online and, like, wow, there's other players online.
Yeah.
But that's, like, every game now. So that novelty is no longer a thing. I think I wonder about that with VR, too. It's like when the novelty fades.
Well, I think the novelty's pretty faded right now in VR because it got to a point where everyone's like, we got to go to like the VR arcade. We got to go try this new stuff. But now they're not like, it's like, okay, you can get a VR headset for your home. And what are you going to play, right? You're going to play Job Simulator. You're going to play whatever.
Beat Saber.
Yeah. Are you going to go into VR chat for the 900th time and get yelled at by a 9-year-old?
Yeah. Like, at first, it's fun because it's novel. It's new. Yeah. It's like, oh, my God, this looks pretty freaking real, But after a while, it's like, I don't want to put that sweaty thing on my head anymore. You know what I mean?
What if we get to the point where it's like in the anime Sword Art Online where you either have the helmet or an implant, and it just takes your consciousness to a different...
It worries me. It worries me like how much like they can control you with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think eventually the worlds are going to bend just because they have to from a productivity standpoint. So, okay. I think I've covered all of the shit that I want to talk about. Halo, guys.
I know you're disappointed.
I love the team at Halo. Most of the episodes were pretty decent. Please fix Quan's character. Again, nothing wrong with the actress, but please fix the character so that she actually gets to play like someone that you like. And then bring Master Chief back to life and don't do that again. Don't do that again. That was not okay. The writers who thought that was okay, it wasn't okay. That was dumb. Yeah. All right. Go. Oh, and Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez. I love some of the stuff you've done, and I hate to say this, but fuck you, man. What the hell, dude? Vespas, fuck off. So if you ever do Boba Fett again, please make him a proper gangster. Let him actually be an anti-hero. Let him actually be like they tried to make him like a good guy, and he's just not.
Yeah, I mean, you remember the few scenes that he was in for the Return of the Jedi, right? Where he's like telling Darth Vader, he's no good to me dead, right?
Yeah.
You want him as a bounty hunter.
Yeah, exactly. He's shady.
Yeah.
Let him be shady. Because how much more interesting would that be if in The Mandalorian, you play the Boba Fett and he's just a bad guy in that series. You know what I mean? But occasionally, when worlds align, when it's convenient for him, he'll step in and do something good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's when the motives are aligned, because that adds such an extra layer of dimensionality into it. You don't know. That grips you so much better. So when the Mandalorian comes in, is Boba Fett going to help? Is he not? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe he turns Mandalorian down, and Mandalorian suffers as a result, you know? But then later on, he comes and saves the day again, but only because it was convenient. You know what I mean?
Do you want like a reality type TV show? You know that Dog the Bounty Hunter?
Yeah.
But you want it with Boba Fett.
I don't... Maybe, probably not.
You never seen Dog the Bounty Hunter?
No, but everything I've seen, I mean, it just sounds farcical. You know, I never actually saw the show. I just, I saw the South Park
hilarious.
episode. And yeah.
So every episode ends with him getting, the guy, and then he takes him down to booking. Before he lets him go, he goes, "You want a cigarette? You want to pray? You want to do anything like that?" So he gives the guy a cigarette, and they pray, and then he turns him over and gets his bounty. But it's always hilarious because he ends every episode like that. So imagine Boba Fett doing that. "You want a cigarette? You want to pray?"
I wouldn't mind that. That's fair. I could go for that.
You go for that?
Yeah.
All right.
But I want him to be dangerous. I want him to actually
do something.
Like I want him to do something probably not okay. I want him to kill someone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And have it be morally debatable as to whether or not he should have. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if someone is trying to protect the bounty and they jump in front of him, kind of thing.
Yeah. And then he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Or, he goes after the bounty and the bounty dries up. The money's no longer there.
Yeah.
And so then he kills the...
Or he leaves him,
Yeah, or he leaves him to die or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Like he needs to do something where it's like, he's not a good guy, guys. Mm-hmm. He may have some areas where, he has some weird morals that are there. But... You don't know when they're going to win out. You know what I mean?
That just triggered a memory for me. There was a scene, I can't remember where I saw it from, guy on a horseback, and he has the guy that he was looking for on the back of the horse. And then he just all of a sudden goes, he's like, "This isn't worth it," He gets off the horse, cuts the guy off the back of the horse, cuts the ties to his hands, and he goes, "Run." He just tells him to run, but he's in the desert.
Yeah.
So he knows he's sending him to his death, and he's like, "Yeah, just go." And he gets back on the horse and rides off. Because he's like, it ain't worth what I'm doing.
Yeah. I want to see a scene like that for Boba Fett. That's perfect. What movie is that?
I don't know. I can't remember. I just remember. It just triggered it.
Yeah. You got to have... If you want your story and your universe to be interesting, you have to have some real stakes. Mm-hmm. And if everybody's a good guy, except for the
protagonist.
Except for a couple of the antagonists, and even them, they're all weak and sort of silly and clowny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it's Power Rangers. You know what I mean?
But who handles the good guy? Whoa, we don't use that word around here. Oh, I mean the antagonist. Sorry.
I don't know what that's from.
Adventure Brothers.
Oh.
It's like the corporation for villainy.
Yeah.
They're like trying to get the new superhero to sign on, and the super scientist is like, "Well, who do I call for the good guys?" He's like, whoa, we don't use that word. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, the antagonist." Sorry. Better. They're like, "Okay, we can get you set up
with jobs."
Yeah, there's just like matching up the villainous with the hero, and it's like, "Okay, we can get you this guy here. He's into super science. He has like a whole tank of like evil piranhas. We can get him working for you next Thursday if that's good." And he's like, no, Thursday, I got a meeting. And he's like, okay. And we have this super cat person, and he has a ton of mutated cats, He calls himself the Claw. And they're like, that sounds all right, That's
interesting.
Shopping for a new villain.
All right. Okay. What else you got, man? Because I was about to exit.
Yeah, there's not much new.
Okay.
I mean, you bought...
Oh, Ronin.
Yeah.
Last Ronin, Ninja Turtles. Guys, I like the first... And this is Robert Rodriguez, too, I think.
Did he write it?
Yeah, I think he was involved in it, yeah.
Oh.
So I got the Ronin, the book that has all 3 comics. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do spoilers. You're not supposed to know who the turtle is. I Googled it.
And it showed you.
And the stupid turtle comic website was the first result for the book. I Googled the book title. Mm-hmm. And the first result that comes up, and of course Google gives you a sample, and the first sentence of the first result tells you what turtle it is. And I was like, fuck off. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
Google and Turtle Comic Con or whatever it is, Turtlepedia, something like that.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, but it was interesting, man. I really like it. It's darker, sort of. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of questioning Robert Rodriguez's ability to get dark now, but it was interesting, you know. There was one line that drove me crazy. I'm going to share it. So this turtle is swimming through this sludge. And they even say in the comic strip, like this freezing cold sludge. You know what I mean? So it's freezing cold, future toxic waste, like swamp that he's swimming through. And he's like, you know, I picture the voice being like all dark and gritty, you know, like in a world where nothing lives, you know. Anyway, but he's like, dang, you know, it's like the sludge is nasty, you know. He's like, I guess all that global warming, you know, is to blame. And he says pollution and global warming, and I'm like, you're swimming through water that you've just described as frigid and nasty from pollution. I get it that pollution kind of goes hand in hand with global warming, but they are different things, and pollution does not make water frigid and nasty. That's not what it does. You know what I mean? So you're clearly making a political point here. You know what I mean? There's no reason for the turtle to describe the water as being ice cold and nasty to the taste because of global warming. Just fuck no. God, if you're going to make your political agenda, at least do it right. You know what I mean? Well, describe the hot air as being caused by global warming. Don't describe nasty, frigid water as being caused by global warming. I was so angry because it was just clearly a political agenda. You know what I mean? Like 100%.
You would have just been fine if they said it was cold and nasty tasting.
And caused by pollution. That makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? And if they wanted to make a point about global warming, fine, okay? But then describe the thing that global warming caused as hot, right? You know?
Well, would you rather have him say there's so many, you know, Big Mac containers floating in my face, or you know, Starbucks cups around here?
Yeah, sure, that would have been great. You know,
you're like,
I like Starbucks.
Picks up a relic of a Starbucks. He's like, once they went global, there was no stopping them.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I would have. That line I would have appreciated. And it's perfect. You know, it's the right wit. I like it.
Okay, here's a comparison. Remember Demolition Man?
Yeah.
Okay, in the future, the great restaurant wars. The only one that survived was Taco Bell.
I don't remember that.
You don't
it sounds familiar though. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So she's like, we're going to go out to eat at the most fanciest restaurant in all, and he goes, where's that? And she's like, Taco Bell, and he's like, Taco Bell, and, you know, and it's the only one that won the franchise wars. So every restaurant is now Taco Bell. Yeah. But they only eat pills, you know, because it's the future.
Yeah. That movie was funny, but what's interesting about that movie is they're talking about they're like she represents kind of our generation, you know what I mean, or maybe even the generation before us, and they're talking about how they're too soft.
Well, in the future, that they were so overly corrected.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, like, that's still something that we complain about today, you know, man. I think it's like the younger generation has always views that way, like it's too politically correct, right? Too safe, you know. But I'm wondering if that's really our generation, or if it's just always the current 15 to 30 somethings, right?
I don't know, because I saw a comic that was kind of weird, because it's like a skeleton dressed up as Santa, and he gives a sword to a child, and it's like a Middle Ages, and the middle-aged girl comes up and she goes, that's a weapon, he'll hurt himself, and then the skeleton Santa just goes, then that will be a very good lesson indeed. You know, they're here to learn. That's all he says.
When was this from?
It was like an old comic, like the Santa gives a sword to the kid, and she's like, he'll cut himself, then it'll be a very good lesson. That's all he says.
Yeah. We are too soft, though. We got to be harder.
You want to go back to Middle Ages harder? Or you want to go back to...
No, I don't want, like, disease and shit.
Greco-Roman.
I'm just saying that, like, political correctness needs to go. Like, nobody is obligated to be nice to you. And I think we got to be more rude.
More rude.
Like, we got to care about each other more, but then at the same time also be assholes. And it's a weird balance.
It's weird. But then, I don't know. Oh, that's the other thing that happened. You know about the Georgia Guidestones? Never heard of him? So it's a monument in Georgia that looks like Stonehenge.
I read something about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So on it, there's like these written in all the languages, right? It's like keep the population of Earth under 500,000 in accordance with nature. All the, it's like meant to be like the 10 Commandments.
Okay.
And I looked into it. They were erected in the 1980s, and the guy who paid to have this erect doesn't want his name revealed, so they kept it all a secret. Except someone, I guess, tricked him to reveal it. Turns out he was like a former member of the KKK.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
And then all these like people are like, it's a satanic, thing, and they blew it up. But it's like,
it doesn't sound like that. It just sounds crazy.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't really affect me, but a lot of people are so up in arms about it that they had to be torn down.
Yeah, I don't know where I sit on that one. That's a topic for another day. I don't have time.
That's a Georgia
to
topic.
Formulate an opinion on that.
That's fine.
I'm out of energy, guys. So, in respect for your time,
yeah,
we're gonna cut it short.
That'd be cool.
It's a really long episode.
We'll edit it down.
Yeah. Peace out, guys.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Late. Goodbye.
Bye.